Come, all you moonshiners, if you want to hear.
Well, welcome back, everybody. I'm George, and really, it's me. I'm the one that just got back. I know I've been gone for a couple of weeks. I've got to give you some updates. Wonderful trip to Scotland. I owe you some videos on my tours there and my experiences. That's coming. Look, if you get a chance, of course, subscribe, share us with your friends, comment below, and you know the routine. I'm right here almost all the time. Send me an email, give me a call if you have a question. Now, on to why we're here today. The 100-liter Genio G-Still, the oil-jacketed model, was recently purchased, yeah, I'm getting tongue twisted, was purchased by someone in the great state of New Mexico, the land of enchantment. And so Phil and Susan, the couple who purchased one, promises made, promises kept. I told you that if you buy one, you get me with it. I jumped on a plane, flew out there, and my God, we had a great time. What a wonderful couple. Two gracious hosts with a very, very humble outlook on life. Very wonderful. I will cherish that time I spent with you forever. So thank you. Now, here's what we did. We assembled on one day. We spent all day. It took us probably 3 hours, but we spent all day just taking our time. We assembled, we talked about everything. We described everything. And, you know, we demonstrated, you know, theories and how it works and why it works and what it does and the advantages. And then we spent probably 5 or 6 hours just sitting around drinking coffee and talking. Guess what we talked about? Yeah, we talked about everything we both knew about, or all three of us actually, everything we always knew about distilling, but were afraid to ask. So we went through all of that, and then the very next morning I showed up, and you know what we did? Yep, we ran it. And I could give you the results and tell you what happened, but you know, I think it has more weight and more value if it comes straight from the owner themselves. So they graciously allowed me to videotape the whole thing, and I'm here to share that with you. So without further ado, and I am not even going to do a closeout of this video, I'm going to allow Phil to do that for us. What a great couple. Hang in there and watch this. Well, welcome everybody. This is George, and we are happy to be with you. I'm here with Phil and his lovely wife, Susan, who have graciously invited me out because, you know, promises made, promises kept.
Right.
They've got the 100-liter Genio oil-jacketed still, and as I said, if you get one of these, you get me with it. So here I am, Phil. And so what do you think?
Well, we got the still and we got George. The question is, can we keep George with the still?
I'll be here for as long as you need me, and then I'm always available. But look, we've got all these pieces out here, and we're going to go through the assembly process. And I think what we'll try to do, Phil, is as much as possible, we'll try to film everything that we go through. But the most important part is going to be tomorrow. What are we doing then?
We're going to run it.
We're going to run it. That's right. We're going to run it and make sure that we've got complete satisfaction. And what do you want to make?
I think we should make some gin.
I think we should too. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
So look, if you hang in there with us, you're going to see us go through this whole process. And this is just going to be simply amazing.
And you've got the best help you can ask for by getting George to come show you.
He gives me too much credit. We're going to find out by the end of the day. All right, let's get to work, okay?
All right.
Got it?
Not yet. I can't find it.
Man, leave you alone for 2 minutes and look what happens.
Set jacket fluid temp. Set temperature, set temperature, set temperature.
Hit the...
Upload stabilization and column cleaning.
There you go.
Column rinsing. And that's 15 minutes. We don't want to rinse it for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, well, welcome back. Look, Phil and I worked on this thing yesterday for several hours. And first I want to say thank you to you, Phil, and Susan, for your gracious hospitality. You made me feel welcome. And matter of fact, I almost feel like part of the family now. So thank you for having me. This has been an experience that I'll not forget. Okay?
Well, it'll be an experience we won't forget.
Absolutely.
All the knowledge you've blessed us with in your company is just bonus to getting to run gin.
Oh, wow. I appreciate that. But you've got it all. You ready? Now, here's what we've got going on. We've got, You know, there was 2 to 3 theoretical plates in here where the copper is. So for those of you who think, you know, or convinced that you got to have copper's in the system. But George has found out that, I don't know, I'm on the fence. To me, it makes no difference. But now we've got 4 gin baskets on here. We left the 5th one off because we wanted to save room at the very top with the ceiling. This thing's about 9.5 feet tall. So that's a pretty tall order for you, Phil.
Right.
Yeah, and right now we're running the a rinse. You can see the water running through here, and this is through the touchpad. We've told it just go ahead and rinse the column for us, and so it's actually doing that by itself.
Yeah, it's really simple. You don't even have to think about it. It asks you the question, you answer it. You tell it to continue.
Yeah, it's kind of intuitive in a way. You know, it's just kind of everything just kind of makes sense. So what we've got here now is we got this 100-liter still. It's oil jacketed. You can see that it's already full of its oil. There's a parrot located on the side. We're just going to let this thing rinse out, and then we've got some mash we're going to throw in here.
And for the people who don't know what 100 liters is, that's 26 U.S. gallons.
That's 26 U.S. gallons, and in anybody's book, that's a whole lot.
Right.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to run a gin today, and we've got juniper berries in our basket, and this is just an old traditional gin. Gin's been made like this since the 1300s. It was used for medicinal purposes, but we found other uses.
Right.
Okay.
And we're going to drink it just like they did back then, too.
Straight. That sounds good. Okay, so if you hang in there with us, we'll be back as we continue to do the rest of it. You know, we've got the stirring motor. I mean, everything is integrated, so it's going to be a beautiful thing as Phil and I with Susan just kind of sit back and watch the beauty happen all by itself.
Right.
Okay.
And it is beauty.
Let's get going. All right.
All right.
Good.
Okay, so we just got through producing our methanol and our heads. And this is the amount that we got out of roughly 20 gallons. And now on the panel, as you'll see the liquid and everything running through, the column is stabilizing right now. As soon as it gets through stabilizing, then the control pad is going to tell us to prepare for our hearts. And we're going to start collecting hearts. In the data points, we have 9 different data points that are supplied by the lower and the upper, and then we have all these sensors. So we can look at the data that's on here and know exactly what we're getting out. There's no more guessing. Is this hearts? Is this tails? This is 100% accurate. You just have to sit back and collect it. All right, so we have just completed our first jar of hearts, and it was a hard one. It took a whole 8 minutes for the Genio to produce what I consider to be one of the best tasting hearts I've put my lips on. And I couldn't have done it without this guy right here, George.
Phil, trust me, I didn't do anything. Phil has taken over control of this. Real short, I'm all excited. I'm really happy. We got 195 proof.
195.
After the stabilization, 8 minutes, we got the first pint out. And this thing will pump out 3 liters an hour.
Which is phenomenally fast compared to anybody who's ever run a still.
There you go. So I think the proof is in the practice here.
Proof is in the practice for sure. And I'm going to have to say, next to George, the Genio's my new best friend.
That's great. Okay, so right now I think we're satisfied, but what we're going to do is we're going to let this thing run for a little bit longer. We're going to find out at the very end what our satisfaction category is going to be. Are we fully satisfied or are we missing something? I just want to know if we missed the mark.
I got an idea.
All right. All right. Good deal. Okay. Here we are, and you can only guess what we're about to cover. Phil, are you finished?
16 jars later, we're finished.
Let me take those from you, and we can explain what took. This is with 195 proof, start to finish. We can explain this very simply. What it took us 3 hours, start to finish.
Over an hour of that was heating the oil.
Was just heating it up. Just a little bit over an hour of that. So you were pumping out, because you ran this thing yourself, you were pumping out what was it? Every 8 minutes you were pumping out a pint. And that was like clockwork. I was impressed. That was every 8 minutes, we were almost to the second you were allowed to pull a pint and remove it. And maybe in the future we'll start putting a gallon jug down there.
Right.
And just let it run. But
this thing is so automatic, and they advertise 0.8 gallons an hour.
Yeah.
And they didn't lie. They told the truth. It produces 0.8 gallons an hour, just like it says.
phenomenal. And we had so much time to just sit back. I mean, we had that entire, after the heat up, really that time too, we just had that time to sit back and talk. And we talked about everything about distilling. We talked about everything about making the country great. We covered every topic in the world. His lovely wife Susan joined in, and we are all smarter for that.
Absolutely. And we're smarter for owning a Genio.
I'll tell you what.
Because the Genio, did you break a sweat today?
Not a bit.
I didn't either.
Not a bit. Didn't have to adjust anything.
How do you do this and not break a sweat?
Gosh, I don't get it. You know what? This is just one of the, it's time to bring this to a close, because you've had enough of us today. We have not had enough of this. I do want to, one last time, I just want to say thank you to Susan, and thank you, Phil, for your hospitality, your generosity, and just your warm friendship. I'm forever grateful. So I'll shake your hand, sir. And as we do with all of our videos when we end, you know the routine. We want to tell everybody, happy distilling.